things are obviously extremely different right now with everything happening in the world. And how have you shifted your business as an individual and a company to accommodate this kind of new normal that we're living in?
Yes, it has been interesting times, I have to say, and everybody, and as a family, as a mom, and as a business owner, designer, had to be much more flexible. I guess I spend, first of all, as an individual, I spend much more time with my 4 children and husband.
Wow.
There's been a lot of homeschooling, so
Same.
I had to be present. So it has been, in a way, positive, because you usually don't take that time.
Right.
And as a business, before the pandemic, we used to do beautiful trunk shows.
Sorry, can I interrupt you? My son just came in and he needs help in the bathroom. I'm so sorry. I'll be back in 1 second.
That's the new reality.
Oh my God.
I love
1 second. I'm so
sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, so no worries. So, and that's a perfect example of things that I'm sure you have been mortified a year ago, and now it's just like, this is life. I have kids. And same for me. I think my 4 children have interrupted so many of my calls, so it's absolutely.
So you understand.
But yeah, absolutely. So just to go back, it's been an interesting time, and we had to reshift our way of thinking individually as a business. What is personal life? What is business life? And being very flexible and accommodating with people, and also with ourselves, which is sometimes a new thing as a mom and as a business owner. So as an individual, I got to spend a lot of time with my family, with my husband and my 4 children, with homeschooling, and really learn to navigate the business time, the creative time, and the mom and wife's time. And as a business, again, it was the same thing. A year ago, we, as a business, were holding beautiful trunk shows in conjunction with the art world, with collectors, with art institutions and galleries, where we had real opportunity to showcase our jewelry and explain the cultural aspect of our jewelry and inspiration. And all this had to stop. Yeah. So we got really flexible on that, and had hired a sales showrooms who introduced us to stores in the US who had the same approach, but with their established clientele, the curated selection, and spaces where they can really talk about Almasika, about me, and about the inspiration behind the brand. So that has been very important, to find third parties and real partners for a long time, to be able to do that on our behalf. And of course, online has been very important as well. We shifted our business online, and it has opened so many doors for us in an accelerated way. So this is how we've been able to cope.
So obviously in 2020, and with everything that happened with the BLM movement, bringing Black-owned businesses to the forefront in such an incredible way, where business owners and everyone band together to amplify everybody's voice. How did that shift your business, if it did in any way? Obviously an incredibly important historic time. And, what did that do for you as a company?
So as a company has been very interesting as well. I will take a step back and say, as a person, and because I had been in the jewelry industry for many years, so I knew editors, I knew stylists, I knew a lot of people from London, Paris, and here in the US. But what has been striking is that desire for some of the decision makers, those editors, those stylists, those writers, to really be more curious about the world around them and welcoming different perspectives as well. So that has been very, very interesting. And I think the next step now is really the stores and the buyers, and that whole element of being open and welcoming different perspective has been very, very interesting to see, and then to witness as a business. We always had a clientele that is discerning and were interested in the cultural aspect of our jewelry, and it's designed in a way that is appealing to, across the board. But they has brought more of this kind of clientele as well, especially with the online and being able to speak to and be in stores that are all over the US as well. So,
yeah.
And I think that's why it was appealing to so many people, is because from the inception, that was part of our motto, and this is how I thought about the brand, really looking into those forms, shapes, and symbols that really transcend cultures and that are appealing, to you as a human.
Yeah.
So that has, this is a continuation of that.
Yeah. Your brand was obviously born in London and debuted at one of my favorite stores that is now shuttered, Colette.
Yeah.
And you live in Chicago. Do you consider yourself a European brand? How do you think it differs?
Mom, Joel's here.
Okay. Can you say hi?
Car keys?
Huh?
You want your car keys?
No.
Why?
What do you need? No, he can park wherever. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Oh, my God, I'm so
The
sorry.
power of editing, don't worry.
And my husband's not home today, and I don't have anyone with my kids, so it's like, you understand, you have 4 kids, so I don't even know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
They're
at school. They're at school now. That's why I felt so relaxed and I have a smile. Otherwise, I would be just like checking all the time, like.
Right, because we live in California, and so everything's closed. So like my kids are home, and I try to say, okay, for the next 2 hours, you have to be here. You can't come past this area. And then they're like,
candies, Peppa Pig, and bribes for the eldest. Sometimes.
Seriously. I know. Okay, so going back to, do you consider yourself, a European brand now that you're stateside? Obviously, living in Chicago, how has that affected how you feel about the brand, and what are the differences even?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, because I actually never thought about it, because really my journey is the soul of Almasika, or the fact that I, was born in Paris and live in all these different places. But I will say that the Parisian style influenced and aesthetic and silhouette influence my own aesthetic in terms of what I design and how I see, the jewelry worn. I think that's the biggest influence. But being in Chicago has also influenced my business and the business aspect of it, because it's a civic city and it's a city where you give back a lot. So as a brand, this has influenced us. How do I see Almasika as a business, and how do I give back? But definitely in terms of aesthetic is more Parisian.
So softness and curves is obviously a signature style for you, with a lot of the curves and circular designs. Was this based on a particular notion of femininity, or how did your style come about?
It's not necessarily femininity. It's really about the fact that I design abstract lines, and I want these lines to really move with your body. So it's a sort of comfort, and we go back to the Parisian element. So you want to be able to wear them every day and in a more understated way. So that's how the curves really play a role. And then also there's an element of almost like a human design center approach. And I really seek and really research, those forms that really transcend cultures. And the human brain is attracted to curves. So it's almost, I always drawn to that, because I always look for this shape that, makes you feel good as a human, and like where you are drawn almost instinctively. And that really comes back to the curves and the soft lines. That's really bad.
So the cowrie shells were obviously the ones I saw on the website were absolutely gorgeous. How did you land on that? How did you land on that design? A lot of people do shells, but the way you did them was, I thought, completely different and very, very simple, but powerful.
Yeah, so actually in 2014, when I launched Almasika, it was with the cowrie shell. So it was that's what really made me want to do a brand. I've always worn cowrie shell when I was a teenager, a natural one. And it has a very specific meaning in Africa. So it's a spiritual object, and it has it's a symbol of prosperity, or spirituality, and fertility. So I wanted to go back and explain that spiritual aspect of that shell. So it's not really it was not a trend for me, and the reason why I was in Colette in 2014 with that is it was quite unique. I previously did in diamond and gold, and was quite something new in the market. So it was this whole desire of sharing a story about something that people see every day, and give a backstory and a cultural story about it. And that's how I started. So it was really this desire, again, to tell stories.
Mm-hmm. Some other things that are very particular to you as a person.
So jewelry. So expectedly, some of my jewelry, I never removed the shell, so it's like hidden in the back right now. Yes, and I always wear a ring that my mother gave me for my 19th birthday, and you will see there's no curves. It's really pointy, and it's not something I will have design, and it's something that hurts me. Yeah. But and this is the power of jewelry. It's beyond the object. It's the whole meaning and this marker of memories that is very important, from a $2 jewelry to any. So there's no commercial value. It's really an emotional value with jewelry. So that's really the piece that I have every day.
So what's next for you? What's next for your brand?
So we have exciting project. I've done a project with De Beers with engagement ring. It was the first time that I designed an engagement ring, because usually my rings have been used, other designed as engagement ring, but I never had to really think about a diamond and then design something around it. So that was very exciting. I have a lot of exciting news that I don't know, Ariana, if we can share. We have new retailers coming, global retailers, amazing design project as well, with significant pieces. So very, very exciting 2021.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of hope in the air, so that sounds incredible.